to this session about AI for doing some stuff with DNN. I will show you a little bit who you can use AI to develop some stuff for DNN. So who you can do some site management of DNN from AI, and also management some content of DNN. It's just a list of tips and some examples that we go over. Thanks to our sponsors. I love to see AI as a junior developer, as an assistant. It's something that have a lot of knowledge, but he knows nothing about you, nothing about your company, nothing about your project on which you are working. He don't know which framework you use, and also his knowledge is most of the time stopping 1 year ago. So for example, he don't know about DNN 10 because DNN 10 don't exist 1 year before. And the other things, it's interesting to know, he have a very short memory and very limited memory when you work with AI. I'm speaking here about his working memory. If you chat with him, he knows the whole history of the chat, but the chat history with which he can work is very limited. If you chat a long time, you have to cut down the history because this memory is very limited. You have to know that. So there are some techniques to, for example, summarize your history of your chat to get a little bit knowledge of your history, come back with long chats. And what you have also need to know that is AI do a lot of mistakes. I've seen some writings about that, and the common thing is to say AI make 30% of his answers contain mistakes. And you have to know about that. And the idea of this session is not to talk about AI for generating text or so, but really for making tasks. And you know, in AI, we love to use tools that can repeatable tasks and tasks that make things that are correct. So we have to try to find solutions to make generic AI execute tasks correctly and repetitively. So that's what about this session. So to make your AI, your general AI better, the thing is to use context, to add context to the general AI to make your AI work better. And because the AI have short memory, it's important to make your workflow better to write all your context in documents. So you can reuse your context in place of everything, retype your context in the chat. It's better to directly begin with creating your context in files and segment your files about topics, so you can always refer to these files to make the AI work better. And a good tip is also teach him the things by example. If you give an example of some task you want to do, you can give that as the context and he works a lot better. I just, maybe you know that already, but it's important to know when you type a prompt in an AI, he put that prompt on a context window, and this context is given to the LLM. The LLM is really the core of AI. It's really like a big database, but that you can query with natural language, and that gives also natural language as an output. And so most of chatbots like ChatGPT or so, they work like this, and they always the output that is generated by the LLM by the first prompt is added to the window, the context window, so that when you write a second prompt, the second prompt is also added to the context window, and the context window is enhanced by the time to make the output more in context of the whole history of the chat. But this context window is limited, and the size of this context window in reality depends on the model you use. And you see that the size, the token limit represents in reality the size of the token window. And you see there are very different sizes depending on which model you use. And the most recent models are most of the times have bigger token windows. And to translate the token in more understandable thing, you have to think that one word is 1.5 token. That's for this demo, I will use most of the time Sonnet 3.5. Yeah, it's Claude 3. So this is typically one model that is often using in development because they have a big context window. You can see. So the idea is to make your AI work, and the brain of your AI is what we call LLM, large language model. But the large language model is encapsulated in an application that you use to use that as like ChatGPT, or there are a lot of other. There are Daniel showed also another one, Libre Chat, and there are a lot of applications. And these applications do something more than just or give you a user interface to the large language model. They, for example, manage the context window that I talk about. But nowadays they do more than that. They try to give more context to the LLM to give better answers. And typically like in ChatGPT, you can, for example, add files to your chat, or you can add images. And this is used to enhance the prompt that is given to the LLM. It can be files, but it can be also, they can maybe use databases to do all kind of stuff. And the application in reality use all this data to create a prompt that is more with more information. But because this context window is limited, they have to in reality a little bit summarize all this stuff. And like Trauwaen here, he only try to find the relevant knowledge for in context of the prompt to give that to the language model to give a good answer. So here is where an ADI and in development environment can very good, and maybe I think not only for development purposes, but also just for using AI in general, because an ADI with AI offer you a possibility to easily manage all your files with your additional instructions that you will use to make the task better for AI. The ADI can also use MCP servers. We go a little bit further in detail about that, to use external context also to enhance your use of the AI. The things what ADI can also do is generate files and directly on your file system, not like in ChatGPT, you maybe can generate files, but then you have to download them, and then maybe upload them back if you want to make some modification. Here, everything is easier. They can also directly modify files, and when you modify files, most of the time you have a visual. You can visualize the modification and accept or decline the modification. It's very important when you use AI for executing real tasks that you have a possibility to check the results before applying them. So it's because the AI make mistakes. So when you choose a tool, it's really important always to check that there is a possibility to verify before applying. And this is where ADIs can do. And the third thing, which is very interesting when you use ADI, that you can, from the ADI, execute commands on your system. It can be local commands like executing PowerShells or executing commands to install NuGet packages or npm packages, but in reality, everything what you can think. And they can also execute commands on external systems, like your DNN installation, for example, that I will show. And that can typically be done with an MCP server. Just tell you a little bit what is an MCP server. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's a protocol, a standardized protocol that can be used which his first purpose was to get more context from an external system to the LLM. It can be context coming from local databases, but an MCP server can also, if you want, call with web APIs to external remote services, like, for example, your remote DNN installation. MCP is an open standard. It's maybe created just for 1 year. 1 year ago, and it becomes very, very popular. Yeah. So here just a short list of example of the possibilities to use AI in an EDI. The two first ones are in reality forks of Visual Studio Code, where they really good integrate AI in the EDA. The third, Klein or Roux code, are plugins, open source plugins for Visual Studio Code that are very good also. But the two first, you pay a monthly subscription. The third one, you have to bring your API key. So you have to pay by usage. And you can use an API key from Anthropic, from OpenAI, from Gemini. You can choose what you want. And the last one, it's that from Microsoft. It's actually, for the moment, free in Visual Studio Code, also in Visual Studio. But in Visual Studio, the features are very limited. The version that is present in Visual Studio Code is much more powerful, but actually the features are lesser than in the other tools that I mentioned before.
I'd like to probably correct that a little bit because I'm using the Copilot for Visual Studio, but I'm using the paid version.
Visual Studio Code.
Yes,
Yeah.
The paid version.
Yeah.
So there is a free model, and that one is of course very restricted.
Yeah.
50 queries a day or something like that. But with the paid model, you can have just about any AI behind it.
Yes, I think but I but
I think what you were hinting at though is that the Visual Studio one,
that one I don't use.
is just very limited.
Yeah.
You can't do a lot of agentic stuff, and it shows that Microsoft wants to move away from Visual Studio to Visual Studio Code.
But a lot of things are going on at the moment, so every week something changes. So, but a cursor, this is with which I use, and I do the demos here on this session with. This is one that already exists for, I think, maybe 2 years or so. Windsurface may exist, I think, for 6 months like this. The other one, Copilot, maybe for 6 months, I think, the free version in Visual Studio Code. But it changes every week. Okay, so we switch to demos for the rest of the session. I just create some demos to let you a little bit understand who we can use some context, additional context to make the task work a little better. So here I'm just on an empty project in Visual Studio Code, and let's say I will just start a little bit explain cursor. You have settings in cursor, different settings that you can configure to adding context to your EDI. One of the important things is sometimes it changes. Here. The first thing is what you see here is code-based indexing. So in reality, he will index all the files in your project and create something like a vector database that is very optimized for AI. So he will do that automatically, but sometimes when you add some new files here in your project, it takes some time, so you can just force a resync. This is one thing. The other things that he uses is you can add documentation. This is just, you can add a URL, for example, to documentation of DNN 10, and then he will index that website and add it to the context to have stuff that is not already present in his model. It can be for DNN 10, but for example, if you use the last version of React, the model don't know that, so you can add a link to the documentation site of the last version of React, and then it works a lot better. The additional thing is here, it's named rules. Rules are just instructions that you can give to the AI to make your work better. And you have general rules like this. You can use this rule just to tell the AI in which language you want the results, the chat. Okay. And because we want to execute commands on your system, it's good to say which system you are using. And you can tell other things about your context. There is one thing. The other things are project rules. This is rules specific for your project. If in this project you using React, then you can create a rule describing that you're using React and which version and which libraries and so on. And the last thing are the MCP servers. So here you can add by yourself a lot of MCP servers that you want the AI can use to grab external context from external sources. But I just start by switching them off because I will show you. Yeah.
All the MCP servers are discovered automatically, or?
No, you have to add them here. Okay. You add them here, and then you have to, in reality, add them to a JSON file. That's typically the way that it's done for MCP servers. But I come back to this part. So just to showcase you a little bit, if I want to create a DNN module for a very simple module just to create a sum of two numbers. So if I go to the chat and I say create a module to do sum and well, what he will doing? Yeah, maybe create a sum, but it's just creating a Python model. That's not what we want. So I will just delete everything. So here, now what I will do to make that work better for us, I just create a rule here. I will create here a new rule. He asked me to give it a name, DNN module, because I want to do DNN module development. And here you can create instructions about who creates your module. So you can say create a module in DNN.net nuke in C# on .NET framework. I want the module work in French, Dutch, and English. English. So, my company name is Sacha Trauwaen. You use the company name for the namespace and for the folder of the module. So just a little bit instruction, and now when I try again, create a module for a sum. No. He's starting creating the model, and if you see, you can see that he use the right namespaces. He create the resource files in English in Dutch, in French. He created a6 files with an input with the first number, an input for the second number, a button to click to make the calculation, and labels for the results. He created the manifest file. He don't use the folder. You don't put my model in a separate in a folder with Sacha Trauwaen. So maybe I have to. But the idea is no. I seen he don't really create a subfolder for my company name. But the idea is here that you can now just go back to the rules. The rules in reality they are just created like files in your project here. You can just go to the files here and maybe explain it. I make a mistake in the writing. See, maybe that.
He has a folder for the module. You don't say module for the company.
Maybe that's the reason why he don't create the folder. But the idea here is that when you are developing, you can just enhance these instructions every time you see he make mistakes.
And then reuse it for the next one.
Yes. And when you put you commit that to GitHub, all these rules are also committed to GitHub. So when you work again to that project, all the rules are automatically there.
Can you ask him to make an install package or a build?
Yes. Yes. They can execute commands. So I will not show you it here, but you can ask them to create the builds files, and if you have, then you can execute the builds by the .NET build commands and so on. They can execute commands. I will show you after to execute commands, not for the model, but. So, I will close this. I will just show you a very simple, small example for a skin. You can, I will also, if you want to create a skin, I will now create another rule file for the skin, DNN skins, more skin. Voilà. And here you can, for example, say I create DNN.net nuke skins with bootstrap 4. You can use jQuery because we use jQuery.
You can use.
Yes, but they understand me.
You have a rule for that.
You can use jQuery.
And the first letter, create?
Create. Right. It's and so here you have your history of the chat, but because you know working on other subject, it's better to start a new chat. You have here the possibility just to create a new chat, and these rule files. There are different possibilities to tell who cursor will use them. They can use them automatically, always, or they can use the rules more intelligently, so they will use the rule file depending on the context of your prompt. Or you can say manually. If you say manually, then you have to tell here that you want use one specific rule file. But for now, I just will, this is manual, okay, and I will just put this auto. But it's already selected here, so manually was also good. So
when you start a new chat, it automatically takes the document you're in.
Yes. Yeah. So create a simple skin.
Would it also be possible to upload or reference an existing skin and just query some alterations?
Yes.
Say, well, I want to have a mega menu.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Typically, who I work is is you can all DNN, there is one possibility is just to use HTML snippets, so you can and you don't need to start from a DNN skin. You can use every skin that exists on the world for WordPress or for even, and just pick the HTML of that skin and ask the AI to generate a DNN skin from it. This is very good working, and even more, that is what I want to showcase it now. You can just grab an image of a screen, go to cursor, and say, in my skin, maybe we just look a little bit at the skin that he generated, okay. He generated here a footer, but we want the footer the same as on the DNN Connect website. So we can here just say, copy-paste the image, and say, modify the footer like in this image. Yes, okay. And he will automatically analyze the content of the image and generate HTML from it. And because we use Bootstrap, the HTML that he will generate. Here you can see also who its work about. He show you the differences about what exists before in red and after in green. So you can, yes, you can choose to accept or not. If it's not good a hook, you can refine a little bit in the prompt. But if you look, I think it's very similar what you have on the DNN website, Connect website. You can, yeah, yes. So you can use that also very good, for example, if you want to convert your Bootstrap 4 skin to a Bootstrap 5 skin, or this is, this is more the part I want to show about development. The next part is more for about about management. No, not this one. Shit. Yes, this one. The idea here is about finding a way to manage a DNN website, and the idea is that I have here this website which is online, And the idea is to add a possibility from your AI to manage the pages, adding pages, adding modules, have a list of the list of users, maybe export the users, and so on. And for that, in reality, it's based on the commands that are present in the prompt of DNN. You know a little bit about prompt, and it's if prompt. So prompt have already all these commands to add pages, list pages, and so on. And Peter Donker have done 8 years ago for a DNN Connect session, I think, a PowerShell script that calls remotely the prompt commands by creating a PowerShell DLL that you have to import on your system, and then that connect to the DNN website using WT tokens. And so I just grabbed the source code of the GitHub repository. I put that in Cursor and asking to indexing the code base. So now he knows everything about what Peter has done 8 years ago. So I know.
The first time it's being used.
What are the available commands in this library for PowerShell? So you see, he's now analyzing a little bit the code, and he finds magically all the PowerShell commands that are in the system. And I just show you that because Cursor have a nice feature that he can use the history of your chat for generating automatically rules, the rule files, just by executing here a command. You can say because sometimes you don't really know in beforehand that you want to make rule files, and so in reality he making here some kind of documentation file for all the commands. So now for now it's a little bit limited, but you can enhance that by say for example adding examples with the parameters of the commands. He has not finished yet. Okay. In reality, you see he make three rule files here, and more overview, and more one with already a little bit of the details, but without the parameters. Here he create one, you see, with the parameters and with examples and so on. So that's very, very good, very important, because now you have these documentation files, these rules files. If you get, you can remove all the source code from his source code, from his project, and you can just use these rules files to use the commands. So now it seems it's okay. So I just accept all. No, it's not finished yet. Okay, I just accept all, and now I can begin using this PowerShell scripts. I can say, no, I just switch to another project because I have to add some stuff I will show you. Just to get a little bit faster, but I here on an empty project without a source code, but with the rule file. But it's a unique rule file with all the commands. A little bit the same that are automatically generated, but I just added here some stuff that when you want to use a PowerShell command, you will always start by doing use site. I'm not going over all the details, but in reality you need first to add your to create a token to communicate a GWT token to communicate with DNN, and I done this actually outside of Cursor. So a GPT token is created and saved in a file, call it size.json somewhere on your system. And after you've done that, you can just use a simple command, use site, with the name of the key you have given. So the commands that the AI need to execute are a little bit simpler, so it's easier. The idea is, I tell the AI, always start with this, so I know on which website AI will work. And from now, I can just say list the pages of my website. Ah, shit. Oh, yeah, stop. Of my website. You see, they have executed the command, starting with the use site, use portal, and execute the command, and he have grabbed the output, and then he have formatted the output in text. You can also, for example, say list the users and put them on a CSV file. And here you have your CSV file with the users. You can say create test user.
Okay, can you do one
We have some error. Yes, he automatically detected there was an error, so I try with another command, which is much better. We have no time, a lot of time left, eh?
quarter of an hour?
10 minutes? No?
10 minutes.
Yeah. So I will speed up a little bit. The other way to doing here is you can also say create a PowerShell script for create a page for each user. So he now he not will execute the command. Yeah? He will create a PowerShell script, but that calling these commands. So he just starting by getting the users here. He executes the list users command, PowerShell commands, getting all the users for each on the users and create a new page. And now, when you want to execute this PowerShell script a lot of times on many sites, you can just reuse the PowerShell script. The next step is, so all these things I show here, you can in reality, there is another way to do is by using MCP servers. In this case, you don't have to install all this PowerShell stuff on your system, but you can create, what I here done is I create an MCP server for DNN. In first instance, in reality there exist SDKs for helping you creating MCP servers. In the beginning, there was only one TypeScript SDK, and I just ask to AI to create an MCP server from the project of Peter. From the source code of Peter, I asked them to create an MCP server. That was the first version, but actually there exists an SDK for .NET also, and so this is what I will use. And now I can just reuse the .NET code of Peter to recreate an MCP server in .NET. And when I switch this on the MCP server, when I will chat, maybe I'm sure I will deactivate this rule. So now he don't want use the rules with the PowerShell instructions, but when I do list pages of website, he will calling an MCP server. If you click on it, you can see the parameters that are given and the results that are the result of an API in JSON, and then like before, text interpretation by AI. But the power of MCP server is that you can activate more than one, and this is a custom MCP server, but you can also use MCP servers that are written by other people. And this is an MCP server that can do browser automation. They can run a browser in a black box, something like that, and giving commands to a browser, and then request the result of the browser. And the example that I here just will show is that, for example, you can ask for SEO report of the home page of the website. So the idea, what you see is he first calling the MCPs, the DNN MCP. And from the DNN MCP, he can yeah.
Guess the URL?
Yeah. No, at the moment he will not calling the second tool. He just giving you an SEO report from the information that will be returned from this first tool. Because this first tool already, for example, returned the name, the description, and so from the page, he already see some issues. The meta description is critical, recommendations, weakness. But I will go a little bit faster because the time goes up. But the idea is that if you make the prompt a little bit better, he will use the other MCP server to get more accurate information about the HTML generated by the page. Because if you were, for example, use JavaScript in your page, he will execute the JavaScript in the page and really use the output from the page to get a lot more information for SEO. But just to finish, the next thing is this is just on my development. See if I'm not. But when I try to do is to make it a step more automated, is to integrate an AI chat directly in DNN. So I have created.
It's okay. It's lunch, right? No.
Yeah.
So
We have
5 minutes over. We'll just go hungry. It's fine.
Have to. So I create a persona bar extension for DNN that integrate a chatbot, and that also can execute some tools. I like little bit its work with the MCP server in Cursor. So here. And yeah. And so all the commands you can you can execute from Cursor. You can just do a list pages. No. And he automatically detects that there is a tool for getting the pages and asking to run it. You have to confirm. And then you get the list of pages. I can maybe try also the SEO report. You can say, I want a SEO report of the home page and send it to info@satrauwaen.be. So now he will execute a tool that getting the HTML of the URL. And no, because just before I have make a list of the page, he already know which is the home page. If we look at the details of the request, the tool, you can see he will execute this tool with this parameter. So if I execute this tool just return the HTML of the page by doing a web request server side. So now the tool returned the HTML, and AI then pick the HTML and do an SEO report of that HTML return. You see some stuff about the title, the description. There is no H1, several images found, but there is a lack of alt text. It's good for mobile and so on. Okay. Now we say, let's send this report to the email, but actually I'm working in read-only mode. This is more for security, so the idea is here, by default, nothing will be changed to this system because I'm in read-only mode. If I now switch to read-write, and I can now just say proceed, because the send email tool is a tool that is considered as a write action. So now we try to execute the send email tool. No. Read the SEO report is sent. Yes, and I receive in my inbox the report. And what's great about this is, in reality, you replace the user interface that you get in DNN for having the list of pages, or creating pages, or is just replaced by a chatbot. And then in reality, you have to create some small tools that execute small actions. And AI will just chain all these tools together to execute some more big tasks. And this persona toolbar have also some settings where you can configure an API key and give also some rules. Maybe I will just give one more thing. Yes, for this, so I have put a number of tools in this chat box. One of the tools is to create files also and read files on your system. And just using the DNN file APIs, so it have restricted actions to the files, because you have only access to the files that is permitted by the host settings. And I also restricted it in the way that he have only access to the files that are in your portals folder. But because OpenContent use folder the templates of OpenContent are created in the folders directory, in the portals directory, I can just use this chatbot to create OpenContent templates. I can say create OpenContent template for showing a team with name, image, function. Okay. Then, but I will show you that in the settings I have put in the rules some information about OpenContent. Who you have made, what's the structures of the files of OpenContent, which are the default folder where he need to put the files. So he now automatically create the needed files for an OpenContent template. And the OpenContent template is composed by files. One file is the schema. It's something like the content definitions. And you see here I've created a field for the name, one for the image, one for the function. These are the option file is for the user interface controls that need to be used, and he will use a text for the function and an image type for the image. Then he will create an example data for the template. Then he will create the template itself. And in handlebar, in OpenContent you can choose to create handlebars template or razor templates. But in my settings, in the rules, I have say I want to create HTML templates, handlebars templates. He created a CSS file, a JavaScript file, everything on the system. And now if I just maybe I can create a new page, but I maybe just using AI for that. Create a test page with open this looking thing. Create a page with OpenContent module with a theme page. OpenContent module. Read right. So we will first execute a command to add a page to DNN. It seems it already exists on the system. Okay. Then he creates another page. Then he will add a module to the page. Now let's create a template for displaying the team members. Because he will not know about the history of that other chat, and he will create a template. But we don't do that because it's already created. So now we can see that we have a new page. And he put an OpenContent template on the page. And we can normally find somewhere the theme template. You can see it,
Too many templates.
Maybe something was going wrong.
But the idea is clear.
I think the idea is
The idea is clear, yes.
And then we should go to
Yeah. Normally, maybe it's not created on the right place. So, that was it for today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.